Hello Lomzy team, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lomzy. My name is Uloma Ezike. Today's sewing tutorial will be on how to sew a spaghetti maxi dress. The last two videos I made how to cut spaghetti dresses. So today's sewing tutorial will be on how to sew maxi dresses. I'll be dropping the link on how I cut the maxi dresses. Both the full one I use 4.5 yards of fabric for the African print, or the one with 3.5, which is not that very full. I'll be dropping that in the description section so you know how to do that. Now if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do so below, because I upload detailed sewing tutorials, sewing tricks and tips. So consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of my sewing tutorial. You can also join my Facebook group, Sewing Tutorial by Lomzy. And for my returning subscribers, you guys are the best. Thank you for always supporting and coming back to watch my video. Now for today's sewing tutorial, let's go sewing. Before we start, I will show you the things I have cut out already. I have the pocket here for the side pockets. Yeah, I have a video on how to add a side pocket, so I'll be dropping that so that you know how to add a side pocket. What I have here is strips for the spaghetti dress. Yeah, I had to cut this on bias. I have a video on how to cut on bias, so you go ahead and do that. So I had to cut this on bias. If you see it's stretchy a bit, if it wasn't on bias, it will not stretch at all. So that would help your curve to sit properly. Now what I have here is 2.5 inches wide, and then my spaghetti strap would be 10 inches. So first of all, what I'll be doing is I would add my pocket to this. So after adding my side pocket, the next thing I will do is to close the side seam, both sides. I'll close the side seam, and I would go ahead and add the bias to the neck. After adding the bias to the neck, then I will now add the sleeve, the spaghetti sleeve. But first of all, I'm going to be adding the bias on the neck. So let's go to the machine. Yeah, I have already added pocket to this. I will drop the link how to draft a side pocket. So the next thing I will do is to close the side seam, right sides facing together. Make sure as you're sewing, don't close the side pockets that you have made. Just sew the allowance you have added on your side seam. Yeah, you do this on both sides. Sew the side seam. Yeah, I have closed the side pockets, the two side pockets, and also sewn the two side seam. So the next thing I have to do now is to attach the bias bind for the neck. The neckline is for me to add the bias bind on it. Now you have to pay attention here. I intentionally chose 2.5 yards bias strip for this tutorial because a lot of people find it very difficult to use wide bias to hem their neckline. So the hemming allowance you have to use here is 1/4 inch, and you turn it to wherever you want, either the front or the back. If you're turning it to the front, it means the bias would show. If you're turning it to the back, that means you won't see the bias bind you have used. So you can actually do this using a different color, and it will give your dress a lift. So another thing you have to do, I want my bias to be showing on the right side of the fabric, right? So I have placed my bias front side facing the back side of the fabric, so that when I turn it, the bias would be showing on the right side of the fabric. So if you want the bias to go inside, that means you will have to face right side facing together, both the right side of the bias and the right side of the fabric, you make them facing together and you sew it. That way you want to turn it inside the dress, but for me, I am turning it outside the dress, so I am sewing right side facing the wrong side of the fabric. I'm taking this as slow as I can so that you'll be able to understand what I'm doing. Now the next thing you do is you fold once and fold again, fold in quarter of an inch and quarter of an inch again, and then you put it on top of your hemline like that. You see what I'm doing? You see how this is lying so flat and curvy? Yeah, that's how neat your job should be. I need to see your job on my Facebook or my Instagram. I need you to tag me with a neat sewing, very neat sewing. Yeah, for you to be a Lomzy team, you should be able to give me a neat sewing. That way you make me so happy to teach more. Remember, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do so and hit the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of my sewing tutorial. And you can follow me on my Facebook group, Sewing Tutorial by Lomzy, so that we can connect properly, my friend. So you check out how neat this is. It's very, very neat. You can use any color, black or any other color, to do this. See how neat it is? Yes, that's how I want your job to do. Look at the inside, how it is. So you go ahead and do this to the other neck, and then we will now go over to the strap of the spaghetti. So the first thing we have to do is to be sure of our bias strip, if it will be enough for the strap we're using. So what you will do is, remember our strap is 10 inches. Then you measure the armhole, the armhole curve, the length of the armhole curve plus the 10 inches. That way you should know the length of strap you need. Remember to overlock the side seam. I didn't overlock this because my machine is not here. I just want to teach you this. That's why I didn't overlock mine, but make sure you overlock yours. Yeah, there are two ways you can do this. You can either sew this with your side seam closed, or you can decide you want to leave your side seam open. It means you will not join the side seam of your dress. Okay, I think I will have to do the both of them. So I'm going to be sewing with my side seam closed, and on the other side I will sew with my side seam open. So you place your bias, leaving allowance between your side seam and where you're starting from. You join the bias. Right side facing together or wrong side facing together, it depends on where you want your fabric to be showing. Remember what we did with the neckline. Yeah, same thing here. So when you get to the end where the armhole have stopped, that is where you now have to measure the allowance for the strap, the length of the strap you have made. We said 10 inches, right? Yeah, so we have to note that here. Let me notch this place. If I'm the one, I won't notch it, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to be notching where the 10 inches is. So I will notch it here. Pay attention. So now you turn this like so, making sure your strap is not what do you call it now, is not I don't know what to, make sure your strap is straight. So you place it to the other side. If it's wrong side you have been doing, you continue with your wrong side, making sure your strap did not tangle. Yes, that's the right word. So let me place it like this so that you understand what I mean. See what I'm doing? You continue with that like that so that your strap is not tangled. Tangled. So you continue with your 1/2 inch sewing allowance. Yeah, 1/4 inch sewing allowance, sorry, made a mistake. Yes, so I would continue with my 1/4 inch sewing allowance, and when I get to the end where my side seam is, you pay attention. I'm going to be doing something there because I want a neat sewing, so you must make sure you give me a neat sewing, so that if your client dries their clothes, they will not be seeing dirty linen outside. So when you get to this place, you cut out, leaving 1/2 inch, whatever allowance you want, you leave that. Then take out this strap and sew in the allowance you have made. Whatever allowance you have added there, you sew it out. So I have added 1/2 inch. I'm going to be sewing 1/2 inch out. So you bring it out like this, close with your 1/2 inch. I'm only closing my spaghetti strap, remember, not with the cloth. So I will close my side seam. This is for me to have a very clean finishing. Some of my tailors don't do this and it gets me angry because I don't like very dirty sewing. My name is Uloma, so it means fine house. All my jobs should be very neat. Yes, so you see that my strap is not strangled, so I'm going to be closing, or I'm going to be continuing with my strap binding. Remember, you are using 1/4 inch hemming allowance. So once you're done doing this, the same thing you have done to the neck, you turn it like so, close and close again, and then turn on, close, close again, and put it on your hemming seam. Yes, like that. And so you're going to be sewing. As you're sewing it, let it be at the edge of the bias. So with it like that, I am going to be sewing close everything. I don't know why my camera didn't get this the right way. Thank God it caught itself, not to talk of if this hadn't shown at all. I don't know what I would have done. The video would have been lost. I hope you can see my machine and the machine foot. Just concentrate and look at that. Can you see how neat it is? Yes, so that's how neat I want your job to be. So let's go to the second sleeve where I have to open the side seam. It means you will not sew the side seam close from beginning. So let me open this up. Sorry, I'm using my scissors, but that's what's handy now. So I would join the bias strip on it, without minding anything, so that by the end of the whole thing I will just go and close my side seam with both the bias strip and the hemming allowance, the side seam hemming allowance. But I would suggest to you to use the first step. I like that it comes out very neat. This doesn't give me the neatness I want, but I just want to show you the two ways of adding the bias strap to your spaghetti dress. So you go ahead and do the same process you did. It's just the only thing is that you're going to be closing the side seam now. I hope you understand this. Yes. Now the final step is to hem your dress. Yeah, there are two ways you can hem this. You can either overlock it and fold it once. If you overlock, you just fold once and that's it, which is what I usually do. Or you can hem it two times. You close it the first time and close again. So you go ahead and do that all around on your hem line. And that will be the end of today's tutorial. See how lovely this is. I so love my maxi dresses. They are so handy. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of my sewing tutorial. For today's sewing tutorial, thank you and God bless.